You could take a path of just picking very mobile cores. Like Weaver, for example, is very good this game already. Um, if it was Winstrike and the roles were reversed, I would say I would almost certainly pick Weaver because Silent used to play the hero all the time, but obviously it's Empire. Um, you probably don't want to play Slark because it's horrible against OD. But I think mobility, or like you mentioned, the burst or the stun lock, or even just reach, because right now you don't really have any. You have Centaur with Blink, but that takes time. Grimstroke, he needs another hero to really kind of ink swell in and to go in and do stuff. So he doesn't really offer his own form of reach. But yeah, I prefer the stun method or just picking some mobile stuff. You talked about the Sven. That hero is perfectly okay here. Very heavy burst damage. Really good matchup against the Juggernaut and the OD. Once he has BKB, you can kind of just pop it and run at them. And Sven is probably one of the few heroes in the game who does enough burst damage to where even if you have someone tethered, they're not going to feel safe. Like you're going to be hitting them so hard that they'll just be like, oh, I need to run regardless, or I need a reload, or I need an astral, or whatever. So this Sven can definitely like push that pace.
Definitely forces Winstrike to think about that off lane now. What is really left? Bane? Okay, that's not a bad way to lock the Sven out of the fight. But you do need something that you're going to kind of shove in the offlane with, right? Because obviously Winstrike now, it looks like their final pick will be an offlaner. What do you think is left in the pool at this point that they can actually address this Sven with? Is there much? Because, like Omni Knight's gone. Bristleback would have been an interesting choice.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have wanted to even play Bristle this game, to be honest. I mean, I suppose Bristle IO is always a possibility, and that lane can be a bit of a nightmare.
Oh.
All right, that's a mid sniper most likely.
Yeah, I mean, it matches up good against the OD, right? I was wondering if they were going to do it because I was thinking it seems really good when I look at the OD, but if the Juggernaut finds you at the back line, you're just an Omni Slash and dead straight away, right?
Yeah, but you also have to remember that if the Jug is in the back line, there's a good chance he's alone, and then you just itemize like Shadow Blade or something, and then he can't ever really go on you unless he's carrying his own dust. So there are, like, to what you're saying, it is true, but he has to be prepared to like itemize against the sniper to make sure that he can actually get that Omni off, because it's not always as easy as just walking into the hero in the middle of the fight. There's Stampede, there's Grimstroke, Silence and stuff. There's potentially a Blink Sven. So it's not super easy to get to him this game. And I love the pick because as we're talking about, like, Empire maybe needed a little bit more reach. Winstrike have like none. Okay, they have only a Nightmare to set up for a relocate. And in that sense, and just the whole theme of something that would lane against his fence, something that sets up fights, I would love to see a Puck. I would love to see Puck from Winstrike. I think that would be great. Bat Rider is also kind of in the same vein, maybe a little bit stronger of a laner, just someone who goes in, gets the fight started to set up that reload. So that ban also makes a lot of sense.
No,
but I'm not sure.
I feel like Bat might be, though. You might be right. I think Bat might be their best choice just because like the Stampede can't necessarily help much because you can lasso, drag, and kill.
Yeah.
Puck, yeah, there's a fair shot about Puck, especially to reach the sniper as well. But I'm just trying to think.
The big difference between like the Puck and the Bat in terms of like the mid game is the Bat is really a one hero type of thing. You get the lasso on the one guy, he dies, and you just keep going. Puck can potentially just be a complete team fight wipe for you. And it completely disables the use of Stampede as an escape mechanism for as many targets as you can possibly hit. And that's why I kind of like it against this team.
Okay.
Ooh, we haven't seen this combo in ages. The Silencer Centaur. This is old school right here. So the old way that you used to play this was you would jump in with whoever, whether it be the Sven or the Grim or the Centaur, and then you would just global on top of it to just ensure that your initiation would go just like completely perfect, right? Like that's kind of the idea behind it. It's also a fairly strong laner in a lot of matchups, so I really, really like Empire's draft, and I feel at the moment that Winstrike have a lot of issues that they have to solve with one pick, and that's never really a good sign.
Yeah, and I mean, I love this Silencer pick because quite often we see it and it's really defensive, right? You've picked it because you're worried they're initiating on you, but the problem always comes with that sort of lineup is if they jump your Silencer, he's always going to give a crap ultimate, right, to defend himself. Whereas if you got things like the Centaur and the Sven, you can just proactively jump in, global silence, and kill someone. Yeah, definitely an interesting pick to see. One we don't get to see too often, and the Beastmaster coming out. Okay. So single target focus, but it is lane dominant compared to potential other choices here.
They're looking to play a faster game. They want the aura from the Beastmaster. They want their book. They want to kill some towers. They want to get map control and not let it go, basically. And Roar does also set up for relocate, so it does check a lot of the boxes. Pushing power, it's a hero you can group up around and not feel bad about. Like you mentioned, it's a pretty strong lane. And when the silencer was picked up, the puck became a lot worse. Because once the coil comes out, Global can all of a sudden just destroy any like initiation that you wanted to have. But yeah, the silencer pick for me from Empire was fantastic. We'll have to see if Non-Grata's Beastmaster can do enough. Because, you know, when you have a 10th pick, you really want that 10th pick to be like, wow, that's a sick hero for this game, you know? And as much as Beastmaster does help, and I think it's a fine pick, I don't really think there was that hero that was just like, this is going to be a perfect game for this guy because it was 10th pick, you know? So we'll see how much impact they can have. And let's see, matchup-wise, have to assume that mid lane is probably going to be Empire favorite at least a little bit. I'm sure Kuman has experience in this matchup because I know he plays with D a lot. And then we'll have to see how the side lanes match up because I don't think that I don't think Beastmaster minds too much about walking to this Fen lane, but I'm wondering if maybe Empire are looking for something specific in terms of where they want this Fen to be.
We'll have to see what they are going to do. I mean, the Sven, he can match up against the Beastmaster. It's not terrible for him per se. But it's not really kind of like, we're going to win this lane, I'm going to get free farm all the time. The boars can be a nuisance, and to be honest, Beastmaster, I think he hits harder. No, they hit the same at level 1 now. Because obviously, yeah, well, technically he hits harder to take the branch out of the equation, because they did nerf Sven's damage by 2, I think.
Yeah, something like that. He got a little bit of a base damage tweak at some point.
A little bit of a nudge. I mean, it makes sense as well, because this is just the type of hero that has built-in kill potential pretty early on, but also has built-in farming mechanisms. This wraparound, though, this from Winstrike, this is unexpected. They're going to find King R in the river. Nightmare's going to come out. Kodos will be able to escape. But this silencer most definitely will not. They'll dive forward for him. And that'll be your first blood. Non-Grata gets the final hit.
Oh, that's nice for him. He gets to start the game with... Well, he'll almost have enough for boots as soon as they pick up the bounties. If they get 2 of them, he should have boots before the creeps even clash.
Done. I mean,
that was a really clever wraparound, by the way. It's just like a reading of like the standard opening for most teams. They'll walk down mid, they'll place a ward. Some teams actually like to smoke, and they'll sit high ground, like out of the range. So that way, if the enemy team doesn't smoke and they walk forward, you'll see them ward, right? Like some people do that. They took it one step further and just said, screw that, we're smoking all the way around. And we're going to do it immediately, so that way we know that will catch you.
And, you know, you're very likely to actually get the D ward there now as Winstrike, right? Because you saw him walk here, so you just put down a sentry right there, and you're going to get that full coverage. It's got to be somewhere in that area. I'm
actually really surprised that Kuman ferried out a salve instead of a sentry. Because as the mid player, sure, you probably want someone else to buy it, but you get the investment back immediately. And it significantly helps your laning phase, especially against another range hero.
Especially with the XP advantage as well. It's not just the gold, it's you get the reinvestment of whatever the cost, even if you buy it yourself, and straight away you get the XP advantage. Which this is the type of lane that you want to be ahead, because once Kodos hits like level 4, it starts to become pretty heavily sniper favored.
Yeah, those ranks in a shrapnel just ruin you as OD. Your attack range is pretty bad, your astral range is horrible at low level.
I mean, even the headshots, right? I've seen quite a few kind of 2 points to take aim, 1 headshot by 3. Because you can never get close enough to astral, and if you do, it's a bad trade.
Yeah, we'll see how the lane plays out. I mean, Kuman is a very, very good player, and I've seen more of him than I have of Kodos, so I'm kind of still thinking that he'll make it work.
I mean, they were on the same team at once, I believe, because they were both Empire at one stage just a few months back. So they should have a good read on each other. Meanwhile, bot lane, there was a lot of harassment going out on the no-fit. He doesn't actually have much regen with him either. Whereas Seiyu, he has plenty of mana to work with and plenty of spells to spam.
Ooh, he actually gets D-warded first. Kuman lost his ward.
Wow. Okay, and
that's unfortunate.
They still don't have a sentry even coming out to Kuman either. Interesting choice. I mean, now it's harder, right? Because you might just see him just tango up on the sentry as he plays it, but interesting choice.
I mean, he went for the nulls, he went for the damage, which is fine. And there's only 1 tango left, so if he does send out the sentry a little bit late and Kodos doesn't have an extra tango, then he should be able to get the D-ward himself, assuming he does the thing where he pushes the lane first. That being said, I'm not sure if you ever can push the lane if Kodos starts getting shrapnel, but like you said, he's actually going for the 2 headshot, 1 take aim, so he's going for much more of a harassment-oriented build. I'm not entirely sure if I like that because Kuman is currently smashing him. Like it's 11-6 to 4-3. He's getting destroyed. I do not think this build is working.
He's praying the RNG gods give him CS at this point. It's a 40% chance. You know, there's worse things you could do.
But if you think about it, that's pretty much the only way that OD can play this lane, is that he has to push the wave, you know? Because if he's going this build on Kodos, he has no deep push at all. He's relying 100% on being able to auto-attack to maintain his lane. And if you just are getting pushed in all the time, those type of builds just don't work that well.
Yeah, and
so
it doesn't.
Maybe he needs a,
I was gonna say it doesn't give him a backup plan either, right? Like Shrapnel, you could then supplement your farm in the jungle, whereas with Kuman's build, he can do that. You can't.
Yeah, I really think it's a mistake not getting Shrapnel in this lane, but we'll see. We'll give it time, see if he's able. I mean, he will recover eventually. It's not like he's behind the entire game, but it is surprising that it was that big of a discrepancy.
Yeah, especially when this is very recently at least been considered a sniper favored lane. I mean, he's got a point Shrapnel now. This is usually where they stick 1 point in, but then the pattern I've usually seen is snipers, if they're dominating the lane, they won't put more than 1 Shrapnel point in.
The bottom lane.
Oh, movement in. Spin, just to get away though. He'll be fine. Top is a little bit of poking and prodding back and forth. Both have the means to harass from range.
It was a very good read on the situation. That Grimstroke has a Fairy Fire and Stick, so if he had committed like the full spin, there was a good chance that he would have been baited into his stun and just died himself.
This has been, apart from that first blood smoke, pretty calm on the lanes. There's been a few pokes and prods, but no hard commitment for a kill on either side, really.
Yeah, I assume it's going to stay that way until 6 on some heroes. Like, obviously, you know, Maiden is getting spun on again here bottom. Taking a lot of damage, but should be okay.
Yeah, Silent has to respect it, because he realizes there's enough to kill him off before he can actually bring down that center. With the Grimstroke there, at least.
I mean, if we are going to see a kill, it's going to be in a side lane. I wouldn't expect anyone to die mid, at least without outside intervention.
What if Kodos gets 100% headshot?
I mean, I've seen like 6 or 7 headshots in a row. It's happened.
It's possible.
And I watched it and I went, wow, I would actually just leave the game.
Okay, yeah, but it's not Gambit in this game. So I think Kuman, Kodos, neither of them would leave off the back of that sort of mistake occurring either way. Whether it's no RNG on the headshots or too much RNG. I feel like this Sans pick, I mean, we mentioned how effective it would be this game when just went on, right? But with this laning phase alone, it's made it so hard for them to aggress because it's so easy to hit them up with the curses.
Bottom again, Maiden missed the stun.
Oh, Maiden, getting pretty low here. Silent chasing through, but you already used the spin. No fear. He only has the stick. So he wouldn't be able to finish off the kill. Runes are coming up. No fear was nowhere nearby, so Say will get both. Meanwhile, top, King R gets one, Lil will get the other one. He will have enough for his bottle with that.
Yeah, I will say that Empire are always on point with their bounty runes. I've noticed that in the last, game or so that I've watched. It's like, even if they're fighting, they still get the bounty runes. Feels like I'm watching Nip, They always get bounty runes. That's just what they do.
Maybe they've got like a coaching video, right? They just sleep at night and there's someone saying runes in their ears, just like on record. They've got like Admiral Bulldog's voice just screaming runes as they try to sleep.
That would be horrible. I don't want that.
Yeah, but
I don't want that on any.
That teaches you why you should get runes, because once you prove you can always get runes, you don't have to
You
listen
don't
to
need
the
to
recording.
listen to it anymore? Okay, that's fair. Let me out of that, though, eventually. Don't just keep me in there forever.
I mean, if you do a good job, you get your runes, we'll release you. That's where you find out you have a sadistic coach that likes to just watch you suffer. I'm not sure if I'm more concerned he likes to watch me suffer or watch me sleep.
Let's be honest. Dota players are all either sadists or masochists. Sometimes both.
That's a fair assessment.
I don't think that there's anyone who plays Dota who doesn't fall under one of those two categories.
It kind of fits as well, right? I don't feel like I know many people who don't like playing Axe or have not enjoyed playing Axe at some point in their career or time playing. And that's literally a hero that asks people to hit.
Yeah.
Non-grata?
Ooh, top lane. Yeah.
Going for him. But Io's nearby. They'll will him down, but they'll never kill him off. Although
Yeah, the
Sven,
phase boots plus the tether and stuff. Very, very tanky hero.
yeah, Sven is farming pretty well, though. The fairness Beastmaster's keeping up, but Sven is top of the CS charts. And it looks like Kodos in the mid lane is caught up to this OD now.
Yeah. He's adjusted his builds. He's got 2 points into the shrapnel now. He's playing the lane. And like I mentioned, Q-Man can really only just go for the imprisonment and then just push out the wave and go and hit jungle creeps, which is perfectly fine for an OD. He is content to hit the jungle. It's actually easier now to hit the jungle than it was before with the equilibrium changes. So.
Yeah, and you do have to be a little bit careful about spamming those astrals and getting too close, because the beautiful thing about Sniper and these type of lanes is he'll just nuke you down slowly with assassinates and force you to burn or regen.
Yeah, he's already bought, I want to say, 3 or 4 healing salves, so he's already spent quite a bit on regen.
Kodos is, here you go, straight away. Nice health, use yourself. See you later. While Kodos just farms up Midas.
These are the situations where I go, if you have to buy a little bit more regen than this, you might as well have just bought Tranquils. You know, because you're going the Midas anyway for the attack speed. I think he just bought the glove. But yeah, Tranquils are awesome in lanes like that, because you can just go heal up in the jungle while you're farming. You don't have to spend as much. Now, obviously, there's a limit, because the amount of money that's going to cost you to finish it.
Force the Stampede away. They were poking and prodding.
Yeah. But, you know, you think the win lace is, what, like 250 or whatever, and then the ring is 300. So if you buy, like, 5 or 6 salves throughout the course of the game, you might as well just buy Tranks. And plus, they give you very good movement speed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the counter argument is, you know, this is the type of hero that uses that extra attack speed from treads really well. But yeah, if he's just rushing a Midas, he's not even gonna get there anytime soon. Top, Lil getting pretty low here. Gonna be chased down with Ink Swell. He's dead. Last 2 for King R. He's feeling like a smart cookie. Nongrata, he's gonna get hit by the Assassinate as well. It's gonna get him pretty low, but he does have the stick. He'll kill his boar instead. Sometimes the pets must pay for the owner's crimes. It's kind of deep.
Yeah, I like the fact that Empire are like invading and like really forcing their lane advantage here. They're gonna pop God Strength in the jungle, just clear out the triangle completely, and then just walk back and pressure the tower. I like to see that kind of stuff after watching the way the first game played out, where they were constantly the ones who were being pressured. This time around, they have a bunch of heroes who I would say they're a little bit cool down the line. TP out here from Maiden.
That's awkward.
We call that the Optimism Omni. You know, maybe if he had like a Maelstrom or something, he would have got that kill, but...
If you believe enough, possibly. Yeah. Sometimes belief's not enough. And there's only a Bracer on the center. It's not like he had an early Vanguard or anything.
Yeah, the hero's just... Phase Bracer, he's got 1400 health.
4.6 strength per level. What did you expect? That also means he has no threat, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean... I remember when that hero first got changed, when he had his old ulti where it was just pure strength, and they just gave it to him as strength gain. I went, this is the most broken hero in the game. No, that's literally what I thought.
I mean, it's a fair point. Like look at this lane now. You don't have Omni Slash, and you know you won't be able to win the lane now. You're bullied completely out if you're silent. Hence why he went straight to the jungle. It's fair for the runes. It's like, yeah, Maiden's like, okay, come here. Let me just give you the 1-2 tap. Okay, no, Maiden may have baited himself in a little here.
He does have his ult, and he knows that there's no Omni.
Yeah. And there was a DD sniper on his way across, but his little legs weren't quick enough. Does have his Midas at least, though, and Kuman is still a decent distance away from his own.
He's got it in, like, one more wave or a couple of camps. That's another thing, too, I really like the silencer for. I didn't really mention it during the draft, so that's my bad, but it's amazing against OD because even once he gets BKB, you can global and he can't orb. And that feels super bad if you're an OD, because the BKB is the time when you most certainly want to be able to attack. I don't know if he skips BKB because of that.
Well, there's the global silence now, because the top lane they're going, and I was going to be one to pay the price. The Save baits them out with Inkswell. And now Kodos is here as well. The Shrapnel party, they're looking for Save, but he's a little bit too fast. They'll ping now. The Hawk will give vision. Silent doesn't have the Omni Slash for 20 seconds, though, and Seiyu beats the Mango. Mango. Slowing down Nongrata. They don't want to go for this. Maiden's too busy farming up boars. Yeah, it's worth it, though. Like, you use Global Silence, sure, but you do punish them. You get a little bit more gold on Maiden. Gets them closer to that Vanguard.
I don't even know if he wants Vanguard this game. I mean, Crimson is great. Don't get me wrong. Like, this game against a Beastmaster, protecting your towers, all that stuff sounds great. I don't think he wants it now.
Yeah.
I mean, he is going to buy the Ring of Hell, so he's committed. I would just really like... Because they have Inkswell, right? Like, it's such a nice combination.
Blink, right? Just rush in.
That's kind of what I would have preferred, but we'll see.
It depends. Like, in fairness, Sniper is farming really well. Sven is farming really well. You don't necessarily feel like you're in a rush if you're Empire, but let's remember, last game, the fact that they didn't feel like they were in a rush did work against them.
This time around, they have a Sniper, though. And Sniper is like... he's the epitome of high ground defense. So.
Angrada? That's an optimistic primal roar. Human got stunned up, throws out the science clip straight away, but that's defensive if anything. Dream has been swell on him. Sayu's going to be left behind. There's going to be a Fees grip out. Kodos the target, but the Omni slice to get him. No fear, will stay alive with the brain sap, even though the shrapnel hurts, and they get a big kill on that sniper. But him on the side, Kuma gets found. King R. Oh no. He's becoming a very smart cookie. Stun out the silent, dodge with the spin, and now Dream has made a fatal error here. But actually has to cancel it. That was... I felt like he could have chased that, but he was reluctant.
I think I know what happened. Okay, so when you're spinning, if you click on someone, you are still technically auto-attacking. So like if you right-click the guy, you're autoing. And I think what he wanted to do was time his spin so that his auto would hit at the very end of the spin to get the kill, but he clicked too early. So what happened is he auto-attacked during the spin, which doesn't do any additional damage. And then he stopped because obviously you still have like an animation or whatever when you auto during spin. And that's why he wasn't able to chase and get the kill, because there was no stick charges or anything on the spin. He should have probably just been dead there. And the other thing too is Kuman, with the most optimistic TP I've ever seen in my life, like he was TPing away while he was Arcane Cursed at like 3% HP with his imprisonment up. I think he could have just imprisoned and walked to Shrine. But yeah, that was a really awkward one for Winstrike.
I mean, it looked good to begin with, right? Like the catch on the Sven makes sure he can't do too much. But yeah, in the end, giving those kills over Silencer especially, big mistake. Because, you know, this guy did get a decent amount of XP out of that. He's now up to level 9. Soon to hit that 10. Not the biggest deal, though, because, you know, 10, it's either attack speed or armor. You'd probably take the attack speed in this game, I want to say.
Yeah, I don't know if any amount of armor is going to save you.
Not against an OD, especially.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. What is he? Okay, he's just got some support stuff coming out, nothing crazy. But level 9 at 14 minutes is pretty darn good. It's only died one time as well.
I mean, you compare that to Nofi, he's sitting at level 7. Of course, the important one for Bane is just get level 6 as quickly as possible. 10 is nice for him, though, with the cast range talent. Angrada slowed down, and turns out Dream just wants to farm the boss. Well, I say Dream, it's actually Kodos that got them. Who is going towards his Maelstrom next? Nothing too out of the ordinary for the sniper this game.
I really would like to see Winstrike take a little bit more of a aggressive posture on the map. Like you have Beastmaster Hawks, you can smoke with like the Beastmaster and Bane and just reload on top of that, and that's like an instant 4-man gank, right? And the Vision game coming in from Empire, really strong here, going to scout out both people by the Shrine.
Yep, but they know that they're here because they scanned that smoke. They'll only get the runes back away. Human farming like a madman, showing us what IOOD can do. Eventually we'll see it work on heroes, but so far it's not really had a chance to shine.
This game's been a lot more quiet than I thought it would be for 15 minutes in.
I know, right? Like Beastmaster, Bane on one side, and you got like Centaur, Sven on the other. And, you know, that silence isn't because of the silencer pick at all. I mean, we've seen one global silence. It's set up one kill apiece. People just content.
I mean, we'll see. I think that this game is going to be one of them where it's really quiet and then everyone just pops off at the same time. And it's just going to be a bunch of battling. That's what I kind of assume. Because the OD, he wants BKB and like 2 other items before he feels super secure in fighting. But the rest of his team can kind of just go in whenever. Like, they're not super item driven. They already have the Vlads up on Angrada. They've had Roar for a while. They have Relo. Jug doesn't necessarily need a whole lot to go in. He can just spin.
And it feels like their lineup should be pressing the issue, right? Because you're up against Empire who have double Midas and they've got a Sven and a Sniper. The late game is not terrible for you necessarily, but it doesn't look astounding. Like OD, he's great, but once the enemies have BKBs, what do you do?
It's really dependent on how the fights break out, honestly. Because if you imagine fighting at a choke point against Sniper, that's a nightmare, right? Like, you don't ever really want that if you're Winstrike. So it's going to be pretty heavily based on vision, which is good for Winstrike because they have a Beastmaster. So I think that there's potential to where they can play around the Sniper's kind of scalability and his propensity to sit on the outside of fights. But it's not going to be easy. And speaking of things, No Fear, dropping a word here, scouting it out.
Yeah, getting out of this won't be easy.
I think I'm...
If he just TP'd...
His team's coming. His team's coming.
He wants to turn this around, but he's silenced up, so he can't get the feed script just yet. Centaur needs to be careful. Maiden does have the Stampede. Just cuts the tree, though. There's a backstab. Kuma moving across. There's a global stance. They'll look to TP away, and they will be successful.
That was nice. King R actually dropped the 2 observers up there. He dropped one towards the tower to see the rotation. Then he dropped another one to scout out when they were like right next to him to make sure that they saw how many heroes were there and decide if they wanted to fight or not. And then they just said, okay, I'm going to silence just everyone TP. Very nicely coordinated retreat there from Empire. It does mean that they expended the global, though, so we can't breathe too easy because Winstrike they're probably going to look for something now. At least I would if I was them.
Yep, pushing on the tower. Both sides, in fact. Empire going for the tier 1 mid. Winstrike securing that tier 2 top. Of course, getting rid of this tier 1 mid would open up the map for Empire. They can then start to play around the Radiant jungle with Fiend's Grip, reload in. Godos in a little bit of trouble. No escape from this. They don't even need the Omni Slash. Maiden's coming across now, but you didn't go for that Blink build. You went for the Vanguard, so you can't try and easily initiate. You have the Stampede. No Fizz coming towards you. Inkswell, there's the Storm. Sun goes out. Soulbind links him together, though. Silence being slowed down and silenced up as well. He can't escape from this quick enough. He'll finally get the spin off, but they decide not to commit the Stampede.
See, this is the thing. You don't need Blink Dagger when they just walk into you. That's the 200 IQ play.
Ah. So Maiden is actually, like, he's more of an oracle because he's reading the future. I see.
Yeah, he's a mega genius, dude. This guy knows. But in all seriousness, there's a lot of games where that's the case.
That is... Like, okay. I mean, the primal roll's a little bit early because now you can just deny the tower. There's a few questions in my mind right now.
I mean, the tower being dead is more important than the gold. That is the most important tower on the map for that team. So the fact that it dies, even if they get a little bit less for it, the map pressure that it puts on the Beastmaster being able to get easier into the jungle, like throwing out Hawks and stuff, it's going to mean that for the majority of the game now, Winstrike should have the vision advantage. Like, it should just be a thing. Especially since Empire just dropped 2 wards in their lane where there's no tower anymore. So guess what? Those 2 wards, they're useless. They just don't do anything now.
That's true. And they've secured everything up there already because they got rid of that tier 2, of course.
Yeah.
I guess the concern from his angle is, Nongrata couldn't see anyone else on the map. He doesn't know if there's someone else behind this fence. So if he waits for the primal roar, he maybe gets hit up by a Stormhammer and he's just done.
Yeah, it's better safe than sorry. Sometimes you get the tower denied and it's whatever, but at the end of the day, the map that it opens up for you when it dies, and I mean, even the TP point, mid tower is really nice TP to be able to smoke and stuff, and now you can't even do that.
Dream, please, Midas. Please, buddy, come on.
This is what I was talking about, dude. All the camps are dead.
Come on.
Every single camp is dead. There we go.
I mean, he even waited around at the camp, which makes it worse, though. He didn't just go straight to the creeps.
He was probably debating if he wanted to Midas a big creep for the EXP, or if he wanted to, Midas a lane creep. Because it is technically worse. You get that 1.85 times experience multiplier for any creep that you Midas.
But that indecisiveness.
Can you imagine a time when Midas was 3 times the experience?
It's like, what was that, 2013, 14? Or was it more recent?
It was a long time ago, but it was... Man, Midas was so crazy back then.
Was it a 2.5 at one point, I think?
Yeah, it was like 3.0 to 2.5 to what it is now, I believe. It might have got nerfed. That's another time in between that I don't remember. But...
Smoke broke. Jump in, blink forward, Dream with the initiation, surround IO. No Tev Eva because actually OD ditched him. Kim was like, nope, I'm out of there. See you later, buddy. Didn't even give him an Astral. Heartbroken.
I love this, though. Empire playing the way that I was kind of hoping they would in the previous match. Just smoking up, looking for engagements, always pressuring, looking for objectives. They get this tower in the off lane.
Oh, no. He hung around. The stomp comes out, and Nongrad is screwed. He'll throw out the primal roar, but where are you going to run? Up to the north by a few seconds. There Crows. They're trying to help Papa, but Papa's already dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he popped that, actually. Just kind of feeding him gold.
Dream's like, okay. Slow him down. Eat it up. No problem. And now they can get the tier 1 tower as well.
Oh. Alright, so what are we waiting for now on Winstrike? Alright, so the OD is very close to being able to fight. He's got the Midas, he's got Treads, Double Null, Kaya. He's working his way towards BKB. Once that BKB is out, he is ready to go.
And also Silent almost has the Manta style now. Getting very close to it.
Yeah, this is one issue with the Silencer against agility heroes specifically. is that Manta does not feel nearly as bad on like a Jug, for example, to buy as it would on like a Sven. Like you don't want to build an item just to get rid of global silence on some types of heroes, but Juggernaut doesn't mind it too much because BKB is still not horrible on Jug, and having 2 ways of dealing with global is always nice. The alternative is someone on your team getting like a Lotus to be able to dispel you, but that's about it.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily have anyone other than maybe I that eventually wants to get some like a Lotus because, you know, the Beastmaster, more known for building things like the Solar Crest, BKB himself, maybe a Blink Dagger, and of course, at the core of it all, this Necronomicon.
And Koda's just going straight for the Mjolnir after the Midas. So he is full farm mode. Highest net worth in the game by a little bit, just barely above 2-man currently. And then their own Sven is making his way towards his BKB. So I would say that within the next 5 minutes or so, BKBs are going to be coming out. And I would expect to see some kind of a fight.
You'd hope.
I would hope, yeah. 10-second BKB OD. If that guy's not fighting, I don't know what's going on.
Just took it for the Ogre Club, dude. He gets himself plus 10 damage. Smoked up.
Another smoke, yeah.
It's always these 3. Sometimes the Grimstroke as well. It's always Kodos just off farming. They realize that if they can get more gold on him as this game goes later, that's more threatening in this type of lineup than a Sven with all the gold stacked on him. Fairness, this Sven is more or less matching the Juggernaut. It's a little bit behind in net worth, but here's the thing. Like, Juggernaut, it's not really a hero that ever feels good if he's matching his opponent in net worth. You always feel like he has to be an item ahead.
Yeah, Juggernaut does kind of... I think he's more of like a... He fights with his abilities more than he does his items, if that makes sense, until like a lot later into the game.
Yeah.
So when you go in, you're relying on the spin, the healing ward for sustain, the omni, and then once those things are down, if the heroes you're fighting aren't already dead, you're probably in some trouble.
And that's where you desperately suddenly need those items to actually do anything.
Yeah.
Smoke. Winstrike. Up on the high ground. Talent may have overestimated his ability to take Roche right now. This could be a bait. The problem is he's getting pretty low.
Actually is just destroying
Relocate.
him.
Global Silence comes out. Stomp on it too. Soulbind links him up as well. The Home stashes out, but it's not going to be good enough. The rolls the Bane. Beastmaster goes down. Silence Clips try and kill him off. It's going to be used the Astral to trap one in, but Kuma's 10-second BKB isn't going to last much longer. Dream, retreating into tree line, is going to survive this. All of a sudden, Kuma needs to get out, but Maiden is waiting. He's got the blink. Stomp comes out. Jump on him. Phantom's Embrace there as well. The double edge is gone. Just melted in the face, but in the Fiend's Grip, no fear. I mean, yeah, you don't have any fear, but you are dead and a little bit stupider for it.
That was a very interesting engagement. As soon as they got opened on like that, I thought they were just gonna run because it was a double soulbind into a stomp. The Omni basically did like no damage at all.
There was a
like,
squeaking noise.
None.
It was it was
Yeah,
pretty
and
pathetic.
the Kuman came in and he BKB'd and he blinked forward and stuff, which is fine, but he ulted immediately.
Yeah.
Like, I know that he's a great player and everything, and he's a way better OD than I am, like, for sure. Not even a question.
But he done it on tanky heroes as well. It's the Sven and the Centaur, right? It wasn't like he caught the sniper or the supports.
Well, he didn't even try to hit anyone. He just went in, and, you know, even hitting like 5 or 6 times is a substantial difference in how much damage your Sanities actually does during a fight. So, I don't know. That engagement was an unmitigated disaster for Winstrike. Like, it was just horrible.
Does it feel like they should have been reloading in the trees as well? Because you know there's the global silence. You know if you're in that sort of position and you go for the global like reload, it's going to get cancelled straight away. If you hide it, maybe there's a chance they hold off on that global.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think they felt like they were hard committed at that point, and there was, like, they just had to go, and maybe he just didn't think about it. It's hard to say, though. Like, in the spur of the moment or whatever.
Okay. I'll let him get the D-Ward. I thought they were just going to go for him. I mean, Maiden was nearby. The problem is they don't really know where this Jug and this Io are right now. And
yeah, that fight sets them back a lot. I mean, fortunately, they didn't lose Roche, but like Empire now are feeling pretty pleased with the situation because that was without his Sven even having the BKB. Like, he's got it now. It's 10 seconds.
And
When
also,
Dream wants to come in.
It's not like they didn't lose anyone. So, you know, it's one of these games I feel like where Empire can sit back and say we don't actually need Roche. We can just keep farming, right? Like, there's no rush for it. Scary for Winstrike.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. That was it's one of those calls that you make because you see, like, oh, they initiated on us, you know, the soulbind and everything, the stomp, we gotta go. And then you realize, okay, this fight's actually just horrible to take. But you realize it like 10 seconds too late.
Draskyl, look at the let's look at the positive. Okay, I've got positive. Kuman still has a 9-second BKB.
That's true. He can still do a lot of work in fights. He just needs to maybe not just go in and ult straight away and try to hit a few times first. I mean, I know it's like nitpicking, but it really does matter a lot, because every time you hit, you're stealing that int, you're getting way more damage on your ulti.
Yeah, I mean, there's a counter argument of, I silence clips because of the mana, but the spells had already been used. It wasn't like he was stopping Stomp from coming out, for example. Speaking of the man with Stomps. Yep, they found the Centaur. Hulk's giving him vision. Trap him down, try and protect, but there's the Fizz grip out. Silent trying to go around the back, but the Global Silence comes out, and Dream jumps straight in. Bane is gone. For more here, right in the middle of the fight. Silent getting pretty low. Inkswell hits him up. The Primal Raw way too late. Silence Clips gets the sniper, though. Kuma's the BKB still going. Chasing on a Maiden who has no mana left, and soon no life. They're just whittling through him with that attack speed. It's beautifully done. Now Dream with the BKB just charged in. Double stun coming out because there was still a soul by non-grata. He needs to get away from this, but can they? The reload, maybe just in time. One more hit, but he gets it. Dream gets the kill. Io gets out, and when he comes back, he's in a big mess. Kuman, he could hang nearby. The problem is there's creeps on him, so they'd see him. Instead, Io's just going to get ditched. See ya later, little lol. Little. Oh, he actually came back. Okay. I'm surprised they didn't go a little bit deeper to maybe catch him off. I mean, they had the mana for stuns, right?
They had nothing up, though. Like,
True.
They could actually all die there.
Yeah, 48 in on Kuman.
Yeah, he was hitting hard.
But we finally saw it. We finally saw what they could do. You know, that backstab was good. That Science Clips was on point. And they'd done what they needed to do, which is get rid of that sniper first.
Yeah. But that's also a difference in, like, terrain, right? If you notice the last fight, they were fighting up into a choke point that was going up a hill. And that time, they started the fight with vision on the Centaur. And even though the grip didn't really accomplish anything, it kind of set the tone for the fight where everything was pretty much popped. And then Kuman came in after the fact with BKB, and Winstrike still had heroes alive. So if he's able to get that kind of, like, flank or whatever every single time and find the sniper, then the fights are going to look pretty similar. But they might even look worse because he's going to get a Hex. When that happens...
Uh-oh. They've got Primal Raw. He needs to BKB straight away. There it is. BKB comes out Primal Raw, but it's too late. Dream being way too greedy. No fear. Pings out. Sees King Art. The long-range nightmare there because the Hulk giving them vision again. And that's going to be a dead stance as well. He has Global coming off cooldown in 20 seconds, so it's an awkward time for him to die. This lineup might just... They can just take racks. I mean, the Beastmaster here. Oh, no.
Yeah, they know this Fen BKB's down. This is actually really bad for Empire. They do have the Sniper and the Stampede still. Grimstroke spam. But they did lose backdoor protection.
And this lineup takes it quick. Jump in the Stomp. The problem is they haven't dealt with the Healing Ward. The Nightmare comes out on Maiden as well. Has the Stampede, but might need it defensively. They don't commit hard onto him, though. They just want the tier 3 tower, and it should be back, take the shrines, and then look towards Roche.
There's a DD bottom as well. No, neither team sees it, but would be big.
Maiden's chasing. Nightmare comes down him, though. A little bit ambitious, especially with Sven still dead for 20 seconds, but they're trying to make sure the side of Winstrike cannot take that shrine. And assuming that they would have split up to go for runes, which they have done now. No fear will get one on the bot lane. Say will get the other.
So a couple of important things for the next fight. 10-second BKB on Sniper. If Kuman manages to get his Hex before the fight,
ooh,
that would be ideal because then he can just... Oh, they lose a no fear bot.
Yeah,
they
but
shouldn't see the Sniper's BKB.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that death is fine. Like, I don't mind that he died there. I was more of just like an observation and, oh, he might have seen the Sniper's BKB. And that information is important, right? Because then you know how you have to start the fight.
I mean, just that move as well. Like, I think we see Solo do that a lot. When he knows his team needs to Roche, he'll force his own death somewhere completely else. Whether it's running at your opponents on the high ground, like up here, or just in that case, super far away where you know they can't initiate on the pit. Sometimes feeding is good, guys. I shouldn't say that. People's pop games.
Tactical feeds are not the same, you know? Like, there's different categories of feeding. It's like, if you're walking down mid, then you're like hard.
In an NA
right?
pub game?
Yeah, pretty much. Destroy your items, walk down mid, give me out, you know, the whole shebang. But sometimes dying is actually pretty good. Considering, like, if a team smokes on you, you die to like 3 or 4 heroes, your core gets to walk away, you know, depending on what side of the map you're on. A lot of people put way too much emphasis on, like, oh, I died like 10 times this game. You know?
I'm just trying to imagine you explain, like, life and death to your kid. It's like, sometimes dying is good, you know? Timmy the hamster was getting a little bit old, a little bit crooked. You know, he was a financial burden on us. And
was he really alive at that point? What was his quality of life like? Like, I can't say for sure that everyone who is, you know, in that position wants to be there.
He's a hamster. He can't really tell you.
It's true.
I mean, would you want to be alive if you're a hamster? I mean, I guess you guys just get to sit around eating, but people, they might just exploit you. They might try and use you to run on a hamster wheel and produce power for them.
That's true. I don't like being used. That's, you know.
There you go.
Don't take advantage of me. Get me out of my hamster life.
Hopefully reincarnate is something that doesn't... Oh, God. He reincarnates as a horse. Things are just as bad as they were.
Maybe even worse.
Human. Smoked up. Moving forward. Got that second life to work with and a scythe to reveal to some friends he's about to make. And oh no, Kodos gets hit by the Hex. That's the best target they could have found. BKB. Global Stance wasted in the end. And King will die alongside him. 80 seconds on the sideline for this sniper. But they're not done just yet, Maiden. Got the blink coming off cooldown. Dream will just TP away as well. I'll be able to get out because the blink was still on cooldown for Kuman. Oh, no. That was too close for comfort.
Yeah, that's the Hex reveal. That's exactly what they wanted, by the way. Was to find the sniper before he could pop his BKB, hex him, and just blow him up. And there was nothing...
Reload.
Stampede still... Oh, yeah, here we go.
They're moving in. Blink comes out. Hex there. Global trying to actually get them away with the Stampede. The Stomp beautifully done. They turn around. BKB Dream has to fight against this, but the Primal Roar comes out. He's controlled up. The Soulbind holding him together with Lil. Kuma's going to come out. Chase on through. Blink away. Dream needs to escape from this alive. He can't afford to go down. Say you in the tree line with TP, but Kuman... Uh-oh. He's like a dog with a bone and he won't let go. Dream has no easy escape. The Omni Slash comes out to ensure his death. He's on the sideline for 80 seconds. He does have buyback, and I think he's going to be forced to use it here. They found more as well. Beans grip.
I think...
Maiden. Whoops.
Oh, what's he doing over there? What the heck?
Was he trying to cut the wave?
He was trying to cut the wave. That's what he was doing.
I mean, he's used Stampede, right? Like, there's not much else he could do. Buyback comes out. They're going to need more than this, though, because they've just lost Save. Kuman just jumps in like a madman, relentlessly wailing on these poor supports of Empire. The Nightmare's out to Sven. All he can do is watch his base die. But it's now.
When I said it's pretty quiet, but the game's just gonna pop off.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty much as rough as it gets. You went from 10 minutes ago to basically nothing happening to the game is just almost over now.
It's just one of those moments where you sit. It's like, well, that escalated quickly because now they're 2 lanes down, and it might be 3. Winstrike still have the Aegis to work with, a lot of time to work with. Hex jump straight in. Look at the silencer, he's gone. He had 20 seconds till his global, and now he has a long time until he's alive. He has to buy back. It's their last hurrah, the last hope. They've got their big cause alive. They have not got Grimstroke for 25 seconds. He has no buyback. If they don't go now, though, it's going to be Mega Creeps before he's up. Dream in the tree line. Blink in. Stun comes out. BKB just moving forward, looking for a target. The Prime War is going to be the Astral to protect from the Eye is going to be fine and silent. Just too much. The Global Silence comes out, but Dream, he might be dead. The Warcry trying to move away and be able to do so in time. They do get the kill on the Bane. Chase through, though. Kuman looking at the Kodos. The BKB is going to run out soon, but before that, he's already dead. Now the buyback comes out. He needs to do something. He needs to do it fast. Jump in. Dream gets the stun out. Kuman, he may have overextended, but he has the second life to work with. Maiden does have the stomp to work with. They ping where Io was. He reload out and reload back in soon, but it'll be too late for Kuman. He's hexed up, chased onto, and silenced. He's dead. They do hold one single rack. The Starbind coming out. Jump in. Silent. Hit up by the stun alongside the other hero here as both Beastmaster and Juggernaut die in the arms of each other. They didn't get the ranged rack, so it's not a Mega Creeps disaster for Empire just yet. But they are holding on by a single thread.
Yeah, this game really did escalate super, super fast. But that's kind of what happens when the OD is allowed to get to this point. There's not really, I think, any other hero in Dota who does quite as much damage as OD does to a single target in such a short time frame. Especially when he's got things like Beastmaster Aura and like the overcharge from the IO when you get tethered. Like, he just gets so much bonus attack speed from his team that when he hexes someone, if you don't have a saving item, you are just dead. Like, there's no getting out of it. You need like an Aeon disc or something to live through a hex. And that item isn't particularly useful either. Not to mention just the synergy between the IO and of itself. We saw right there, showcase bottom. He can just imprison his IO, and it's fine. Like, if he gets blink stunned, because his IO obviously doesn't have a BKB, he can save him, and then he comes back out, retethers. The OD's BKB the entire time anyway. And then life is good. It's just a really, really strong opening from Winstrike.
And Empire...
They're losing melee racks here.
Yeah, that's all they'll lose, though, because they still have tier 2s up. And now the Fiend's Grip coming out in the Dream actually cancels it. He's scared. He saw Maiden moving a little bit forward, and he's like, nope, that's a negative, buddy. There's no kill to be had here. So they lose one lane, but that was the best case scenario. Empire couldn't get more than that. The only thing better would have been to end the game, but the likelihood you get through tier 4s and the throne before everyone's up on the side of Winstrike is very, very small. In fact, non-existent.
Yeah. I mean, I thought this game would be... It is still pretty close in terms of net worth and kills, don't get me wrong, but the state of Empire's base is not looking so hot at the moment. And I think a lot of that's just due to the vision superiority of Winstrike. Like, having the Beastmaster being able to get in with the reload, having the Bane to set up, and just getting the one quick pickoff, you know? Finding the sniper when he had the 10-second BKB and him not being able to, like, feeling like he couldn't buy back, more or less, in that situation, even though Roshan had been claimed by Winstrike already. That's just... It's a really bad feeling, you know? Because you're sitting there farming, and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and then you just die, and then all of a sudden, everything just goes to crap, basically, for Empire off that one kill.
Yeah. And it gets more horrifying for them, because Human, someone we don't see as often, has gone for a butterfly in his OD now. It's quite worrisome. I mean, they do have the Daedalus on the sniper now. They have a decent amount of damage. I think the next big pickup, that's going to be a long way off for them. Like, the big critical thing for them is probably going to be Save going for that nullifier. Like, if you can get that in good time, they can just screw up this Cuman's chance to actually end the game.
Yeah, the nullifier would be definitely big, but he's already got the Hex, too. And that should be playing a bigger part, honestly, because he's had it for a while. And I think, like, the main reason why the Soulbind isn't really coming into effect as much is because the first people into the fight are never the OD and the IO. They're always there kind of after the fact. And if they are the first ones in, it's because they can see stuff because they have a Hawk and they get like a quick Hex and they know the Grimstroke isn't in the vicinity. So he's not really been able to make use of his Hex, Scythe, and Soulbind combo. If they can do that and they catch the IO plus whoever he's tethered to, I can very easily see them winning a fight. Like, it's not too far-fetched. It's just playing into a lineup like this where you don't have the vision and you're also down like 2 sets of racks. Oh, and by the way, you can't mega the enemy anyway because there's a tier 2 in both top and bottom lane. It's an uphill fight, to say the least.
And it might just become impossible if they let this Roche go, but I don't know if Empire can do anything about it. The problem is these lanes push in so damn hard. And
yeah, no shrines or anything. It's looking like a freebie, honestly, here for Winstrike.
Give me Aegis and cheese. Human probably will take the cheese and has made himself more or less unkillable. They give it across the lil. Makes more sense. Just allows you to still use the cheese and also means you don't have to give up one of those vital slots that you're using, right? You've got your BKB, your Blink, your Butterfly, and your Sheepstick. All important.
He's also the one who's much more likely to be hitting the towers and stuff. Or I guess no tower really left except for the tier 4s, but...
Okay, that was a little bit worrisome. Raiden's TP was taking a while, and Nothia was getting very close. So they use the Stampede, they get everyone out, but now you don't have a Stampede for the defense of your final racks. And look at that, Silent goes straight in with a DD. Forcing out the Glyph already. They're going for a wraparound. This is the last hurrah moment for Empire. When you make this move, you know it's desperate. They already cut the trees. Don't grant a reason, though. They jump in. Stun comes out. They don't want the Prone Roar to be there. But the Astral is saved. Now the Global Silence. The BKB already active for OD. Means he can't perch it off. Dream hit up by the Omni Slash alone. Cuts it across the creep wave and looks to make his escape. Kodos, though, gets found. Jumps straight in. He's gone. The Fiend's Grip locked him down. 120 seconds dead. Sleep comes out and Maiden. Ping onto him next. No Stampede to work with. The Bash comes out. And his life will end very shortly. Throws out a Stomp, jump in, Inkswell's there, Beastmaster, eats the cheese just in time because Lil was there. Now the Side Slips goes down, drop on the King Eye, he's gone. This'll jump in, and looks like this is over as the GG comes out. Empire submit defeat and Winstrike take a clean 2-0 sweep.
Really impressive performance, especially in the second game. The first one was a bit touch and go, you know, back and forth. The timing from Empire really wasn't there. The Beastmaster from Winstrike actually did so much more than I thought it would. It's been a while since I've seen that hero really been played as like a meta hero, but you kind of forget that Dota is like so much about vision and information and what you can actually see on the map and what you can't see, right? Because it changes the way that the players have to like move around the map, how they want to take fights, and all these other things. And the Beastmaster just allows so many different avenues of starting fights for Winstrike because you can get a Roar, you can get a Nightmare into a Relo or whatever. And like there were so many fights that were basically started just because of Hawk vision. that might have never even happened if it was a different hero. That I feel like that pick, it didn't wow me at first when I saw it, but it, like, in terms of its impact, it was definitely, you could tell it was a 10th pick. Like, it did a lot this game.
No, most definitely. We were worried after the lane phase initially. It looked like they were a little bit too passive. We were like, okay, there's double minus on Empire. You can see they're very threatening in the late game. But it felt like most silencer games, right? Where at first you see some aggressive plays, like, this is looking good. But the moment you start getting this stage in the game where you're making all these defensive global silencers and you're preemptively using them, the BKBs just purge it off completely. And I feel like Winstrike just had better save mechanics, right? We mentioned it early on. Between Kuman and Lil alone, you've got two. You've got the reload out, and you've also got the Astral. And you mentioned it when they pushed that base. Io, you can't jump on him because Kuman will save him. And if you jump on Kuman, Io can just save him. Like, it's the perfect combo to bring together to make sure no one dies.
Yeah, I think letting Io through was a little bit of a mistake. I understand the not wanting to get cheese thing and banning Brood, but, like, oof. That's a rough way to go out, I think, if you're Empire for this series. But nonetheless, really, really cool stuff from Winstrike.
Fantastic from them. So they'll make their way through to the upper bracket here. I'm just checking to see what's happening in the other games, because I think it might still be going on. I know that Vega will one game up, so they're keeping the hot streak alive. They've yet to drop a single game here.
Yeah, that's what, 8 in a row?
I believe so, yeah. And Na'Vi is the one they're up against. I think they were, when I checked in a little bit for a moment, they were in the lead. Just waiting for Twitch ads to end. See, I support Twitch. I'm helpful. We'll just get you a quick update on that.
Me too.
It's just
I'm actually just too lazy to install ad block, but I'll say I support Twitch.
Wink, wink. I mean, a lot of people will be like that now, though. So I reckon they like doubled their potential people watching compared to before.
Well, I mean, the other thing too is a lot of ads you just can't ad block now. Like, from Twitch, at least. At least that's what I've been hearing. I hear a lot of people complaining about it, but ads never really bothered me. I'm like, you only really play them on times where nothing's happening, unless you're watching those streamers who just have them at set intervals. In which case, I could see that being a little bit frustrating. But for people who play Dota, you just play ads when you're between games. Nothing's going on. Like, you're not missing anything.
Well, to bring that to a close, while I let Draskyl finish convincing his viewers that he should be allowed to run ads and they should give him the ad money. I just checked. It looks like Na'Vi and Vega are drawn 1-1, so they'll be going to a third game to decide that. That's going to be spicy. You guys should head across and catch that action on the main channel. But that does mean that me and Draskyl are done here. We're done for the CIS qualifiers. I'm not sure if you're back for the EU ones. I should be back for a few of those.
I think I'm back on the 13th.
Okay.
So that's playoffs, I'm guessing?
Yeah. So you get more action from both of us for the EU ones, but we're done for now. Go enjoy Owen, Shiva, Gods, and of course my boy Lizzie. Try not to get too entranced by his pecs, but thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll catch you on the EU qualifiers.